Hello students, how all of you are doing? I believe that all of you are doing great. So welcome back to another class for subject science. Last week we learned about making shadows, okay? So how shadows are formed. So shadows are formed when something is blocking the light, okay? So if any object is blocking the light, that's when it forms the shadow, okay? So shadows have different shapes, okay? So if but shadows have different shapes, okay? So I will read first and then I will explain you, okay? Shadows do not always look like the object that makes them, okay? So shadows have shapes, but they do not always look the same as an object, okay? Shadows can be a different shape, okay? So shadows can form different shapes. Shadows have no color, they are always dark. So as you know, when you see a shadow, it's always dark, it's always in black color, so it's always dark. Shadows have no color. Shadows have no details like eyes or mouth. Okay. Activity 4.4a, making animal shadows. You can try this at home. Okay. Try making these shadow animals with your hand. Okay. So you can see some hands. Okay. So they are making shadows. Okay. So it's hand, but the shadow appears as a bird. Okay. So here you can see you can make shadows with the hand, so but it appears as an animal, okay? So here you can see one more here, okay? So shadow, you can make shadow with the hand, but it will appear as an animal. So that's why shadows do not appear the same as an object, okay? So you can make shadows with hand, but it will appear as an animal. Making shadow puppets, okay, activity 4.4b, page number 44, okay, so we are studying on page number 44 and 45. So making shadow puppets. Sarah and Nasreen are making shadow puppets. Try making your own shadow puppets. Tell others how the shadow is made, okay, so you can do this at home. So you can use cardboard or you can use paper, okay? So you can check on YouTube how to make animal puppets with cardboard, okay, or with paper, and then you can try to form shadows. You will see it's the shadow will appear as an animal, okay. So let's have a look here. Why do shadows take the shape of the object, okay? So why do shadows take the shape of the object? A shape of an object always determines the shape of its shadow, okay? However, the size and shape of the shadow can change, okay? These changes are caused by the position of the light source, okay? So a shape of an object always determines the shape of its shadow, okay? So like if you make animal shape with your hand, so the shadow will appear as an animal, okay? So if you make animal puppets with cardboard and you create a shadow, you form a shadow, it will appear as an animal shadow, okay? But the size of the shape and shape of the shadow can change, okay? So the size and the shape of shadow can change. As I mentioned in the last lesson, like okay, when the sun is down in the morning and in the evening, shadows are longer. But when the sun is on the top, so shadows are short. So that's why size and shape of shadow can change. So now the question is, why shadows are always dark? So why shadows are always dark in black color? Because the light cannot pass through an object. So when there is no light, we see sun. Like night time, there is no light from the sun. So that's why it's dark. So that's why when an object blocks the light of sun, it forms shadow, and the light cannot pass through the object. That's why it forms a dark shadow. So as you can see, so if sun is this side, it will create shadow this side. Okay, so it will be the same. Okay, so like for example, like our shadow. So shadows do not always look the same. Okay, why? Because like, okay, we can see our shadow, but sometimes it looks like us, but still we cannot see our eyes, we cannot see our nose, we cannot see our mouth in the shadow. We can only see like a real image of a human, but it's black. Okay, it's dark. We cannot see eyes, we cannot see nose. So shadows do not always look the same. The object that makes shadow. Okay, and shadows can be in different shape. Okay, so shadows can be short and shadows can be long. Okay, and it does not always look the same. So, and shadows have no details like eyes or mouth. Okay, so try to do this at home. Okay, so watch on YouTube. You can find cardboard in your home. Okay, or you can use paper. So try to make puppets, and you can use torch. You can use torch from your phone. Okay, or you can go outside the house where is the sun. You can use sunlight. Okay, so try to make shadows. Okay, so you can see and try to change the position. Okay, so it's the earth that rotates. That's why in the morning shadows are longer, and then earth rotates, and when in the middle of the day the sun is on top of us, the shadows are short. Okay, so you can try this at home. Okay, and coming on to your task 1. So task 1 will be posted in the group. Okay, so I will give you task 1 in the group. Okay, so that's it for in the first video. If you will have any questions, any doubts, you can ask me. I will be there to help. Hello students, welcome back to our second video for today. And today we are learning about shadow shapes. So shadow shapes do not always look the same. Okay, so it always changes. Sometimes it is long, sometimes it is short, and it does not always look the same as object. Like we human beings, we create shadows when we go outside in the sun, but we cannot see our nose, our eyes. Okay, in the shadow we always see a black image of us. So we cannot see eyes, nose. Okay, so what are the 4 main characteristics of shadow? So what are the 4 characteristics of shadow? So as I mentioned in the last video, so everything is here. So it is always either large or same size as that of the object. Okay, so it is always either large, short, or the same size as that of the object. It always black in color. It always black in color, like dark. Its position changes depending upon the position of source of light. So its position changes depending upon the position of the source of light. It needs a screen for being formed, and it needs a screen for being formed. Okay, so these are 4 characteristics of shadow. Okay, so coming on to your task 1. So task 2. So task 2 will also be posted in the group. Okay, so I will give you some activity to do. Okay, so if you will have any doubts, any questions regarding your task 2, you can ask me. Okay, I will be there to help you. And don't forget to do your activities. Okay, must do your activities if you want to get good points in your final exam. Okay, and remember, if I give you any activity to do on your textbook, always use pencil. And if I give you any activity to do on your notebook, you can use pen. Okay, so that's it. In the second video, I will see you in the last and third video. Hello students, welcome back to our third and last video for today. And today we learn about shadow shapes, and you guys have done a great job in your task 1, task 2, so keep it up. Okay, so before I give you homework, I'll explain it one more time. Okay, why do shadows take the shape of the object? Okay, the shape of an object always determines the shape of its shadow. So if you place a bottle, water bottle in front of light of a source, so the shadow will be formed in the shape of water bottle. So like we human beings, when the shadow is formed, so we can see ourselves like a human being, and hands are moving in the shadow. Okay, but we cannot see eyes, nose, and like other body parts in the shadow. So shadows do not always look the same. Okay, it always changes. However, the size and the shape of the shadow can change. So the size and the shape of the shadow can change. Okay, so when shadows are short, we cannot see anything. Okay, so when shadows, it's just a shadow, so we cannot see anything at all. These changes are caused by the position of the light source. Okay, so same, these changes are caused by the position of the light source. Same like, okay, so when the sun is down in the morning, we see shadows are long. Okay, and we can see shadows are longer, and we can see long hands. Okay, so but when the sun is on the top of us, we see a short shadow. Okay, so when the sun changes position, and shadows change too. Okay, and what are the 4 characteristics of shadow? It is always either large or same size as that of the object. It always black in color. It always black in color. Why? Because the light cannot make it way past the object. Okay, obstruction like an object or anything. So that's why the light cannot make it way past the object. That's why it's always in dark in color. Its position changes depending upon the position of source of light, as I mentioned earlier. So the shadow position, the shadow position always changes depending on the position of source of light. Okay, so it needs a screen for being formed. Okay, so that's it. Homework will be posted in the group. Okay, so I will give you homework in the group, and if you will have any questions, doubts regarding homework, you can ask me. Okay, so I will assist you with your homework, and don't forget to do your homework. If you don't do your homework, you will not get any points in your final exam. Okay, so that's it for today. I will see you next week. Take care, be safe, and goodbye.